Love is an industry. Love is a poem. Love is an ocean. Love is
eat a lot of chocolate.
A person can become great provided that they've read the complete works of Oscar Wilde. Then after doing that,
it's a good woman, you know, somebody you're going to connect with, somebody you feel that you can create your entire life with.
Prepare for death.
I like to think that God created us because I don't know. I don't know why God created us. I don't know.
Somebody invented football. It's probably like one guy that invented football. Look how great that is. That changed the world.
Whenever I go to the ocean and I see the water and it doesn't end, I realize it makes me feel the whole world is actually connected.
Hell, wow. Not a place I want to be.
Heaven, a nice, hot, beautiful beach.
Enjoyment, we want satisfaction.
I'm afraid of spiders.
Deep, dark waters.
A killer or monster is living underneath my bed.
I'm afraid of being murdered, I'm afraid of being burgled, I'm afraid of being shouted at.
You can't get everything you want.
I prayed for children, and thank God I have 2 beautiful little girls.
This life's amazing.
Is Judaism sexist? Seems to be.
No, Judaism isn't sexist. People are sexist.
At times, very. It seems to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. Judaism is chauvinistic and sexist.
Yeah, I think that the Torah of the rabbis is completely sexist and completely patriarchal.
Yeah, but you have to understand the sexist of Judaism is because it was founded 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, when the whole society was sexist. You can't expect it not to be sexist. It was not sexist back in the days. Today, when humanity changed, it became a sexist.
I think that Judaism is a little bit sexist. There is a difference between a man and a woman in Judaism, and that's what we have.
Judaism is sexist. Yeah.
Yeah, very. Women have a very distinct advantage, if you ask me, in the Jewish religion.
I used to think it was. I'm more and more thinking that maybe it's not, but I'm not sure.
People make it appear sexist. In Judaism, men and women have different roles, and I think that we are different. But it's the application. It doesn't have to be.
No, I don't believe that Judaism is sexist. I believe that it relates to the sexes in different ways.
Judaism? Sexist. Yeah, against the man.
Everybody knows that the Jewish people, we are the only ones in the whole world 3,000 years ago, in the male society, so to speak, going back, chose a woman, democratically chosen woman, not because she had an army or anything, as to be our absolute king and our leader, because she was the greatest human being of that generation. And that was Dvorah the prophetess. Everybody knows she was the judge of the Jewish people. That was the position of king, just because of the fact that she was the most capable. So we say that a woman can be the most capable human being around, and they should be, and so should every man be the most capable. We believe in the ultimate potential of every human being made in the image of God. So women and men are both in that category. We have a commandment: emulate the Almighty. Be like God, exactly like God. Take responsibility. Help people. Everything that have mercy on people. Be courageous. Everything that the Almighty as is. But you understand, both men and women are obligated to fulfill. They're both obligated to reach for the stars, to use their full potential. And they both live with that realization. Now, value? I've got boys, I've got girls. You think I love my daughters less than I love my boys? I want them to have less than my boys? Nonsense. Value, the Almighty values every human being. Children are the same. So a girl and a boy, a man and a woman are the same value. They're the same value. They Their jobs are different. Their constitutions are different.
I think men and women are different. It's like asking, is a peach different to a pear? They're both fruit, but they're still different.
Men and women are different.
Yes, they are different. Men and women are different.
What do you mean, like men, women? They are different.
I think aside from the superficial differences, everyone is inherently the same.
They are different intellectually, physically, and different agendas, you know? Wake up in the morning.
Men and women definitely are different, but one's not better than the other.
Just look at some scientific research for that and you see that it's obvious, no question. I mean, look at us, we're different.
A man is supposed to go to war. A woman is supposed to have children. Men can't have children. Women can go to war. But men can't have children. They just physically can't. That's a fact, yeah? Now, women have to take care of the children, at least the first 3 months. They have to breastfeed children, yeah? Man can't do that. And it's something that men, if they have a sensitivity, know that the women have the advantage all over them in their tie to the children and their closeness to children. I mean, how can a man get that feeling of actually forming his child and actually giving him sustenance to keep him alive? A man is deprived of this, and that's one of the things he's deprived. He can only sort of gain a bit of it from loving his wife and loving his family, but he can't have that. Now, a woman can go to war, but it's not what we're supposed to do. She's not supposed to go to war. When there's time of war, men are supposed to take it up and go to war. When a woman is having a baby and carrying her around, a man is supposed to get out there and get the food. Yeah, this is a natural selection. So this also comes with a natural difference between them. To be able to carry a baby around for 9 months requires an awful lot of patience and ability to take pain and discomfort, and the body changes, etc. Men don't need to learn to do that. They just don't have it. Yeah. While bringing up children, it takes a lot of sensitivity training, and women are born with these qualities. Men have different qualities.
Women are more intuitive. Women understand the area of the heart better than men. Men are more logical and reasonable, although that doesn't mean that women aren't logical and reasonable, but just that men's being is more centered in the mind and women's being is more centered in their hearts.
Whereas men have kind of a warrior complex where they can miss true beauty in the world and mistake it, you know, for something else and miss the whole point of existing.
I think a lot of times you paint men and women into corners and say this is what a man is, this is what a woman is, and you're taking it too much. We're all human. And there's certain differences. I don't think they're as huge as a lot of people make them out to be.
You know, men just don't care if they hang their towel on their closet door to get dry. Women care about these things because men look at it from a practical sense. Women look at it from the way that it affects the room by having towels hanging on the closet cupboard.
Different between a man and a woman is physically. Men basically can carry more stuff and women can bring children to the world. But when it comes to a running place or do something in his main, the only thing is by thinking, there is no difference between men and women.
A simple illustration as to how they differ. You know, a man comes home and a woman says, you know, the neighbor insulted me. The man says, yeah, I'll go right up there and punch him in the nose. She says, please, don't do that. I'm going to have to live with the consequences. No. Then what do you want from me? The man doesn't understand what the woman wants from him, yeah, and the woman doesn't understand that he wants to punch the guy in the nose. What the woman really is looking for is some empathy. Feel for me. Look what he did. It's horrible, yeah? But let's not make any more scenes, yeah? While the man says, I'll take action, and why do you bother me if you don't want me to take action? You see, these things, there's a heck of a lot of them.
I might get in a bit of trouble from this from my sister and friends, but I think men tend to be more logical and less emotional, whereas the woman obviously would be the opposite.
Usually men don't exactly understand what's going on in the kitchen, what's going on with the children, what's going on with the laundry, and women have an instinct to these things. They feel it, they understand it.
Basically, women have their own language, and we have to try to understand that language. And men, we have different roles.
From what I see, that when women are having problems or issues, they like to talk about it, they like to talk to as many people about it, they get a lot more emotional about it. And when a man has the same problems or going through his issues, he wants to just crawl into a cave.
Yes, if I knew the answer to that question, a lot of psychologists would be out of jobs. So,
but men and women are different. That does not mean that we're sexist. We say that a man without a woman is a half a man, and a woman without a man is a half a woman. You know, together we make one human being. A man without a woman has no blessing, he has no house. A woman is the stability of a family. And a family is what civilization is about. Out of me into we. We are one. We are one is what civilization is about.
I definitely think they're different because they live in a world of women where men have a viewpoint of men, and we see ourselves as that group or the other group.
I mean, the classic example is the toilet seat thing. I mean, they must really get over this issue. Really up, down, you know. We're not talking about a major gradient. It's really not that major. It's not a lot of work. How much energy does it take? Come on, work with me.
We're from different planets, in fact, different universes. I think that to make one whole, you can't both be the same, you need to be different.
I think aspects of Judaism are outdated.
I think Judaism is definitely outdated, and I think that that's the reason why we don't see more religious people.
People make it outdated, but it doesn't have to be.
It's certainly old. Outdated, I don't know. People still seem to be doing it, enjoying themselves.
Well, that's a very complicated question. No, I would say no. I don't think Judaism is outdated per se. But then again, I don't believe that that rabbinical Judaism is true Judaism.
It's necessary even today. People aren't outdated. We're still the same like we were back then.
The Judaism is not outdated, and I think it's pretty much in.
I think Judaism is outdated in a lot of ways. Like, for example, you know, we live in warm times now. You don't have to wear big jackets and coats.
Judaism outdated, like, you know, marriage, stay married, that's outdated. Yeah, you should get a divorce every, you know, few years. Or have your children on drugs, or wonder what the heck is life about and run from it. That's the new way of living. Come on, Judaism has been teaching, love your neighbor, enjoy being good, 5 classes of pleasure, what free will is about. Where's outdated? Nowadays we don't have free will. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to. The proper study of man is man himself. That is the arch point of Judaism. There's nothing you can do for your Creator. Rather, what will you allow your Creator to do for you? That is the substance of Judaism. We are here to have pleasure. That is the meaning of Judaism. Now, you tell me that that's outdated, then man, you're in for trouble.
Actually, it's more relevant now than ever before.
Seems to me very superstitious. It seems to me like something that sounds a little primitive.
Judaism is a very up-to-date religion because all the different issues that they were dealing with way back when, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, are the same issues we constantly deal with today.
The most unfortunate perception most Jews have about Judaism is that it's meaningless. That's why we're assimilating. That's why they don't study. In every other nation in the world, their old traditions, when they got liberated from colonialism, you know, they went back to their heritage. They were proud of their heritage. They had to believe in their heritage and self-respect. The Jewish people, we changed the world, for goodness sake. Half the world has accepted the basic premises of the Jewish religion, that God spoke on Sinai, that we were redeemed in Egypt. And we're the only ones in the world that we got our freedom. We come back to this land of Israel, and you know what? We use Turkish law, not even English law, Turkish law, because that's what it was. Because they can't change the law, because then why not Jewish law? That's the father of all law. Solon, the Greek, yeah, and the Romans chose the Jewish law as their basis of law. And the English chose Roman law, and the Jews have Jewish law. It's gorgeous Jewish law. And it's humanitarian Jewish law, and Jewish law is beautiful. So why not? Because it's our heritage? That's why we turn it down? We're the only ones who just accept that it's old superstition instead of, let's learn it, let's understand it. Oh yeah, the Hebrew language. Gorgeous, the Hebrew language. It's great, the Hebrew language. But the book that the whole world reads, we look at it as nonsense. The book that changed humanity, the Bible, we teach it to our kids as fairy tales. We don't even know ourselves the profundity of it and the depth and the power of our heritage. It's only the Jews that can be so stubborn. Sure, rituals are outdated if you think they're rituals, right? If you're putting a mezuzah on the door, and you know, they say that 90% of the Israelis put a mezuzah on their door. So if you think that the mezuzah on the door is to keep out the evil spirits, or as a guardian angel, or whatever it is, you're outdated, man. But if you open the mezuzah, and you take a look and you read it, and you read there about the greatest pleasure in life, about why life is so beautiful, what makes life so beautiful, and how to remember it, then it's pretty obvious that the Almighty did not create us to have a mezuzah on our door. He told us to have a mezuzah on our door to remember what we were created for, the greatest pleasure that there is. So read the mezuzah before you say it's a ritual. And the same thing goes. Anything that you don't understand, don't call it a ritual. You know, when you're going to have children, or you had children, so you teach them to say please, thank you, I'm sorry, yeah? And you know what? Don't be shocked. One day they're going to say to you, I said please, so where's my chocolate? It's a hold-up, man. They paid their price. You're not paying them. You're not giving them. And then, you know, they turn it into a ritual. You want them to really mean it. It's very unlikely until they're a little older to understand what I'm sorry means, rather than just, okay, I paid my dues, now you got to forgive me because I said I'm sorry. Didn't I say I'm sorry? What's the matter with you? I said I'm sorry. So one of the misconceptions that people have about Judaism, the deep misconceptions, is that it's ritual. And we explained, the Almighty is there for one purpose, to give us pleasure. They think that it's arbitrary. It's not. He's trying to explain, like we try to explain to our children. Love your brother. You'll be happy. You'll enjoy it. There's more to love than... We try to explain it to them. The Almighty tries to explain to us. Live with joy. Be happy. Accomplish. Be good. You'll feel good about it. Do your work. It's only for our good. Another misconception that people have is that Judaism says that everybody else is no good. We're right and everybody else is wrong, and everybody else that doesn't believe in Judaism is going to hell. It's not true. In Judaism, a non-Jew can get to heaven. It's not, you don't have to be Jewish to get to, even an idol worshiper will get to heaven. The story is told about our father Abraham, who was brought up as an idol worshiper. And I don't know how many of you know that he became the high priest of his father's idols. How do you reject without knowing? Remember, you don't reject without knowing. That's just a whim. That's wrong. So he was born to an idol worshiper, he became the high priest. When he became the high priest and he was the authority, he said, this is nonsense. So then what did he do? He went to the neighbor's idols. You don't become a philosopher. Human beings have wisdom. Learn from other human beings. So he went to the neighbor's idols, became the high priest of theirs. When he was a high priest, he rejected it. Finally, he saw the common denominator, the mistake in idol worship. And he became a philosopher and he found God. So after many years of serving God, and the Almighty did a miracle for him, he defeated 4 kings, he said to himself, in the Torah it says, Al tira Avram. The Almighty says to him, don't be afraid. So the rabbis point out, what's he afraid of? He just won the war. You know, what are you afraid of? He's right on high, you know, after 67. Oh, what are you afraid of? Yeah. So the rabbis say that he said, this was a miracle. And the Almighty did for me a miracle. Well, maybe he's paying me back for all the years that I served him. And that he really has in mind those years when I was a kid, when I was an idol worshiper, when I was a high priest of these awful idols, and he's going to punish me for it. And the Almighty says to him, Avram, your reward is great. For what? For being an idol worshiper. What do you mean? What do you get a reward? You did it because you were seeking truth. You tried to understand. You get a reward for that. That's not wrong. That's the way people seek truth. First, you're faithful to your father's religion. Jews should look into their religion. Christian into their religion. A Buddhist into his religion. First find out. Don't reject until you know. And for doing that, even though we are doing things that are wrong, but you're doing it for the right motivation. Because this is the only way you can do it. You'll be rewarded for it. Avram was rewarded for those years because he was seeking truth. If you have any questions or any comments, anything at all, we're interested. Please call.